What's up, everybody? We live? How's it going? I am literally at the airport. What's up, Ben? How's it going?
It's going good, dude. I just want to make sure you're all good to go.
Are we live right now?
We are live right now.
What's up, everybody? How you guys doing? Hey, here's some context. I'm at the airport, jumping on a plane in like 15 seconds to go hang out at Dan Kennedy's event. We're speaking there. Which camera looking? This right camera? There we go. Anyway, but we started going live every single day. We've gone live every single day except for Sunday for the last 2 weeks in a row. I couldn't miss today. This is gonna be the best day ever. So I'm at the airport hanging out with you guys right now. Here with John. What's up? John's the dude at ClickFunnels who runs all the ads, who gets all the people to show up. So we're going to be plotting and scheming on the plane. It's going to be amazing. But I wanted to hang out with you guys today. I can't see your comments. Hopefully you guys are commenting. If you are, what's up, everyone? I missed you. How you guys doing? Where are you calling in from? Anyway, so, and hopefully you guys can hear me. It's kind of echoey here. Anywho, Ben, should I just set up what's happening? Ben's here with me. Ben's in office today to help make sure that this actually rolls.
Yes, go ahead and set up what's happening today. You're good to go. Everything's all set.
Awesome. So what we're going to do today, Ben and I were at the office last night till 2 in the morning, 2 a.m., working on presentations, the perfect webinar slides and pitching, because we practice what we preach. We are a product of the product. We do what we say, unlike most of our competitors. Not that I'm throwing them under the bus, but like, come on now. Do they have funnels? No, none of them do. Are they still playing this game? No, none of them do. I'm here with you guys. I'm one of the people. Anyway, so we were up to 2 o'clock last night working on the slides and presentation. We're like, what should you do tomorrow? I'm like, oh my gosh. So I started going through all the old Funnel Hacking Live presentations, and there was this one presentation. It's only like, how long is it? Like 20 minutes long?
Yeah, it's about 14 minutes.
14 minutes, okay. So it's a presentation. There was one year we did this thing called Funnel Frameworks, where I'd come on stage and I was sharing like different little individual frameworks. And I was like, oh, Ben, do you remember I taught this one where I talked about emotion, logic, close? And he was like, that was my favorite one. And we started freaking out. And so he found it last night. So that's what we're going to share with you guys today. The emotion, logic, close, which is one of the most simple but most powerful frameworks for closing, and we use it everywhere, as you will see. We use it on our funnel pages, in our email sequences, in our retargeting campaigns. Like everywhere we use it over and over and over and over again. It's like the most simple thing, but one of the most powerful things for you guys to understand and to master. And so that's what we're going to teach you guys today, is that framework. Anything else they need to know, Ben?
No, any other than that, are you going to be on the plane by the time
For
this
sure.
ends?
I was actually walking through security right here, right when Ben popped up. Are you showing up? I'm like, oh crap. So yeah, I'm gonna go through security. I'll probably be on the plane. So if I'm not here after, Ben will pick it up and keep running with this afterwards. If I'm here, I'll see you guys afterwards. If not, Ben will be running it. But with that said, should we show them the episode?
Yeah, let's go. You guys ready?
Let us know in the comments. Give me some comments. Tell me.
You go crazy.
Safe flights, Russell. Don't die in the plane. Whatever. Like, give me some good mojo. It'd be awesome.
Yes.
All right. So that's going to pass it to Ben to pass it over to his presentation from Funnel Hacking Live, teaching you guys the emotion, logic, and close.
Sweet. Here we go. All right. So this is the presentation, guys. Emotion, logic, and close is the process that's taught in like a secret program. Like we haven't taught this openly in a lot of different ways. So if you're in Expert Secrets, you can find it in Expert Secrets. I'll go ahead and find the pages for you right afterwards. And then we're going to go through all of this piece by piece. Now, Russell is at this moment flying over to Texas for the Magnetic Marketing Super Conference. So that's where he's going. That's what's going on. So we're going to go ahead and play this. Let us know what your biggest ahas are as they come, and we'll see you on the other side.
What? They start freaking out. I was like, this is a framework that I've been using for myself for a long time, and I assumed that everybody knew it or did it. And one time we had a marketing meeting. This is probably about a year ago. We flew most of our marketing team into Boise, and we were sitting there, and I remember mapping this out. I was explaining the layout of a landing page. I said, hey, just, this is the 3 closes and how we use them on a landing page. And everyone on my team was like, what? They start freaking out. I was like, didn't everybody know this? And like, I don't think anybody knows this. You've never talked about it before. No one's ever shared it. And I was like, oh my gosh. That's amazing. So I've never really talked about this publicly anywhere before, besides right now and right here. So I want to kind of go through this. So I call this the 3 closes, how to quickly double sales by weaving these 3 invisible closes into every step of your funnel. Okay, and this is what the framework looks like, and it's emotion, logic, and fear. All right, so step into kind of the pre-frame so you can understand how this framework works. So the first thing you have to understand, I learned this originally from Perry Belcher. I think Perry learned it from Dan Kennedy, but I'm not sure. But he said something really interesting. He said, if you look at anything in life, the reason why people either move towards you or they don't move at all is because of this weird thing that we have as humans called status. We like to fill status, right? And so that's kind of how like all of selling is based on this when you start understanding it, okay? It's all based on status. And so when somebody's looking at any opportunity you offer them, right? Here's the new thing, here's my product, here's my service, here's my whatever. What they're thinking about subconsciously in their mind is, if I do this thing, if I buy this product, if I move forward in this way, is this thing that I'm considering doing, is it going to increase my status or is it going to decrease my status? That's the psychological turmoil they have in their head every single time you make an offer. It really boils down to that simple. Okay? Is this going to make me feel better about myself, or is it going to make me feel worse about myself? Am I going to increase my status or decrease my status? Okay, and some of you guys are thinking, oh, that's not me. I don't make my decisions that way. Okay, I'm not so self-centered that I'm worried about my status all the time. But it's interesting because status works both ways. Some people buy really amazing things, like, to say, a really expensive watch or a nice car because it'll increase their status. Like, oh, I'm going to feel really good, right? And so that's one side of it. But some people, they don't buy a car that's really expensive because they feel like that will decrease their status, right? The first time I ever shared this concept, I remember I was talking about a Ferrari, and I'm going to share a Ferrari story here in a second. So I was talking about a Ferrari, and I remember I was talking about you go to buy a Ferrari, you do it because you want to increase in status. And I remember a lady in the audience raised her hand. She's like, I would never buy a Ferrari. That would not increase my status. She said, that would actually decrease my status. I'm like, exactly. Like your fear is the other side. Like, if I buy this thing, it's going to decrease my status. I was like, what do you drive? And she's like, a minivan. I'm like, why do you drive a minivan? And she says, well, it's because it makes me feel intelligent, because I know it gives good gas mileage and it's safe for my family, all those kind of things. I said, so you bought a minivan because it increased your status. She's like, oh my gosh, I never thought about it that way. I thought that everybody, status was like this thing that was a negative connotation, but all of us do it, okay? And so that's what you need to kind of understand. So as we move into this framework, I want you to look at it through that frame of understanding status, okay? All right, so the first close when we're selling anything is our emotional close. Now, emotion is the most powerful tool we have for selling anything, okay? And so that's why we spent a whole session last night for like 2 hours talking about the Epiphany Bridge and story. Okay, story is an emotional close. I'm telling you a story. I'm getting you engaged. All your feelings are happening, right? Okay, and so you're getting the emotion. Now, emotion, like I said, is the most powerful thing. And for years, this is the only way that I knew how to close stuff. I would tell stories that were emotional. People would feel it, right? And then they would go and they would buy things. Okay? And so emotion, people feel this emotion that gives them a status increase. Like, oh my gosh, this is so amazing. If I get this thing, if I buy this product or this service, right? I'm going to have better style. I'm going to have more happiness, more wealth, my physical appearance. I'm going to feel better about myself. I'm going to lose weight. I'm going to make money. I'm going to, whatever the thing might be, okay? So it's an emotional decision. And right now, if you look at the metrics, about 50% of your sales will come from the emotional close. Okay, and some of you guys, that's all you do is just the emotional close. And that's okay. That's what I did for probably the first decade before I understood the second two closes. But 50% of your sales will come from the emotional close, okay? Now, this is a picture of Todd. Just like that red car. So this is Todd's red car. And I remember he saw it, and he was like freaking out. He's like, I want to buy this car. And he went and he jumped in the car, and he sat in it, he drove around, and he felt amazing. And he was like, this is amazing. Can you imagine driving this car every single day, how awesome it would be, right? And he's sitting there visualizing the increase in status, like, I'm going to feel really good. People are going to see this car. It's going to be awesome, right? So the very first thing is he's emotionally sold. He's like, this is good. I need this thing, right? Okay? And so most sales happen emotionally initially, right? If I imagine you guys, the last car that you bought, when you got it the first time, you sat down, and you're like, oh my gosh, this is amazing, right? It's the emotion you feel of it. And this is true to anything in life, by the way. Think about the last 5 things you bought. You sat there and you're emotionally like, oh, this would be really cool to have. I want that thing, okay? But then what happens is after the emotion kind of runs its way, and you're like, I need this thing, I have to buy it, then we have people we love around us. Like, for example, Todd, this is his beautiful wife, Ashley. And he's got to drive home in this car and tell Ashley about the emotional experience he just had. Now, she didn't have the same emotional experience that Todd had when he first stepped in this car, I'm pretty sure. And so from there, now we transition to the second close, which is the logical close. So after Todd bought the car, he signed on the line, he Voxed me, and he started talking to me about the gas mileage, about how the resale value is so great on this car, and he's going on and on and on. And I started laughing, like, Todd, I'm the most emotional person you have ever met. You do not have to logically convince me of anything. He's like, I know, but I'm driving home, and in a few minutes I have to logically convince Ashley that this was a good purchase. And so the second close is logic, okay? And logic is all about avoiding a status decrease, okay? So all of us, we buy things emotionally, and then we justify them logically. Okay, so if you don't have logic in your pitch, in your presentations, and the way you're selling, a big percentage, 50% or more of your audience will not buy, even if they're emotionally moved to buy. Because like, this is amazing, but like, oh, what if the decrease in status, right? They feel the emotion of the increase in status, they're excited by it, but then they fear the decrease of status. Like, what's my wife going to think, my family, my friends, if I drive this car to school, what are the other parents going to think? Like, all the different things that they start freaking out about, right? They have this fear of the decrease of status. And so because of that, you have to also speak to the logical mind. Okay? And so the second close in any sales presentation is the logical close. Okay, so we start with emotion. 50% of buyers come from emotion, and then about 30% of the buyers will come from the logical close. So where you logically explain things, mostly so that they have the ammunition they need to logically explain to other people so they don't feel a decrease in status. Okay, there's no logic in buying a Ferrari. I had one for a while. It was the worst car ever. If you don't plug it in every night, it dies. Okay, you can't jump in it. You have to plug it in. It takes a week to recharge it. It's the worst car ever. It broke down every time I drove it. Like, it was insane. Like, there's no logical reason to have a Ferrari. It's horrible. In fact, I was talking to Todd the other day. He's like, yeah, I left it unplugged and it sat in the driveway for a week because we couldn't get it back. I'm like, it's the worst car ever, right? Emotionally, though, man, it looks good. Like, I've never been a hot girl, ever, but when I drove my Ferrari, the 2 times it worked before it broke down every time, I would drive to the gas station, and all of a sudden men from everywhere would start popping up from the gas station and come around me. I was just like, and they're like, how many horses are in there? I'm like, I don't know. I'm not a car guy. And they're like, can I get a picture with it? I'm like, I guess. Like, I feel so violated. This is the weirdest thing in the world. The other weird thing is you drive down the street and you see the other cars coming. And it was funny because the women driver never noticed any of it. But the men would be like, woo, every single man, woo. And I say people like flip around and speed past me with their cameras getting selfies like, oh, look at the Ferrari. I'm like, this is the weirdest thing ever. Emotionally, it was amazing. I felt like a rock star. Okay, but logically, it's the worst car I've ever driven ever. Like, it's horrible, okay? All right, we understand. Emotional is about increasing status. Logic is protecting yourself from a decrease in status, okay? And 30% of your sales come from logic. And then the third close is what we call fear, or FOMO, fear of missing out. This is the urgency and scarcity. Okay, there's some people, no matter how much status increase they think they're going to get, or how much logically they convince themselves and others around them that they can buy something, they won't take action unless you're going to take it away. The fear of missing out is the thing that gets the last 20% of people to buy. Okay? And so this pattern is happening everywhere. You guys will see it. At this event alone, I'm going to be using this process a bunch of times on you. Hopefully you guys will respect that and appreciate it and see it. Okay? But I want you guys to start seeing where these things are weaved into a lot of things. So here's some examples. Okay, so emotion, logic, fear. So just feeling this event alone. How many of you guys were at last year's Funnel Hacking Live? And at the very end, I was like, hey, you should buy tickets next year. You're like, whoa, and you ran in the back and you bought tickets. Where are my emotional buyers? I love you guys. Thank you for doing that. Yeah. So these are the emotional buyers. They had an amazing emotional experience last Funnel Hacking Live. They're like, this is insane. Next year, I'm going to be on stage. I'm going to get my award. This is the most amazing thing on earth. I'm going to commit to myself right now. I'm going to do it. Those are my emotional buyers. You guys all signed up before the event even left. So grateful for you guys. I hope by next year you are all emotional buyers. That would make my job of selling tickets so much easier. Okay? That's step number 1. Okay, so we get the emotional buyers, and then it's like, everyone's like, well, I don't know if next year if I'm going to win an award yet. I don't know if this. Well, what if the speakers aren't good? What if this? What? And like all the logic, right? Like, oh, what if I go and like I don't learn anything new because I already know everything Russell's ever said. I've read all his books. I know everything. Like, what? And all of a sudden the logic starts coming in, right? And so like the next set of closes for us, we start introducing speakers. And each speaker, I'm like, here's the speaker. This is why you need to hear from them. Logically, this is the part you're stuck on. This person's going to give you that piece. Here's the next speaker. Here's the next speaker. Here's the next speaker, right? And I spend the next 2 months of my life doing interviews with all the speakers, and everyone's like, logically, okay, all right, so if Jermaine's going to come, then I'm going to come because, you know, logically it makes sense. I need that piece. Oh, and logically, I need design hacking. If Catherine's going to be there, I'm going to come, right? And logically, for 2 months, I start closing the next set of sales through logic, right? And so the next 30% of our sales came through the campaign like this, right? And then guess how the last 20% of the tickets were sold? Literally the last day when I'm like, hey, tickets sell out tomorrow, and then they're gone forever. And all the rest of you guys are like, oh my gosh, Russell's been talking about this every day for 12 months of his life. I think I'm going to finally get it, right? And then we close down ticket sales. The next day, people are like, I didn't know it was closing down. Like, I need tickets. I'm like, are you serious? Every day for a year, I've been telling you about this. It's painful, okay? But this is the process, okay? So I'm showing you this because this is a typical campaign. We lead with emotions. We lead with webinars or product launch videos, things like that. Videos, like we're getting the emotional close, right? Then we transition to the logical closes, then we end with urgency and scarcity, right? Emotion, logic, fear, okay? If you look at the perfect webinar script, it is strategically designed to do this exact same thing. The very first section of the perfect webinar is all about emotion. We're breaking false beliefs, am I right? Then we transition to the stack and the close, which is a very logical argument, right, about why you need this thing and this thing and this thing and the value. And I'm logically convincing you why it's actually worth the thing you did. Okay, so if I go back a step here, you're feeling the emotion of like, yes, this is going to increase my status if I get the thing. And I transition to closure like, oh, but what's my wife going to say if I have to talk to her about this? Is it a really good offer? Is it a really good deal? Like, what are my friends going to think? What if I buy it and it doesn't work? And all of a sudden, the logical mind starts freaking out. So I come in and I do the stack. And through the stack, I walk you through that. I'm like, this is the offer. This is the value. And you're like, oh my gosh, this is a really good deal. Okay. And you grab your wife or your spouse or your husband and be like, look, this is a really good deal. Check out the offer. And they're like, are you sure this is a good deal? And you're convincing them logically, right? And then at the end, call to action. We have urgency and scarcity. This is why you got to buy now. Okay, so that happens inside of the actual webinar script. Okay, same thing happens in the webinar funnel. Okay, if at a macro level, if you step out in the webinar funnel, the first part of the webinar campaign is all about emotion, right? They register, they get the indoctrination videos, they watch the webinar, like it's a very emotional sell. From there, we transition to the replays, which are very heavily pushing like the offer, right? We talk about, go watch the replay, and here's the offer, here's the offer. And then the end of the campaign, we do our urgency and our scarcity, and our last 20% of sales come the last day when everybody's like, oh, this offer's disappearing now, I must finally go. Okay, emotion, logic, and fear. Okay, we also see in our landing pages. Okay, if I know that the best opportunity I have to sell is emotion, the top 1/3 of my page is all speaking towards emotion. If you look at any of my landing pages, you'll notice that the emotional pitch is everything above the fold. Above the fold means without having to scroll. Everything you see on the page is all emotion, right? And it's crazy if you guys use analytics like the tracking software, see how people scroll down. It's like most people never scroll past the initial thing, right? What happens is the emotional buyer's like, this is amazing, boom, they buy. And then the logical buyer's like, this is amazing, but like, and then they start scrolling for more information. So they scroll down, it's like, oh, here's all the emotional arguments about why you should buy this thing. We speak to emotion, or excuse me, speak to logic here. So my logical people who are typically more readers will start reading through the longer form of the thing, right? They get the justification they need. And the bottom is like my urgency and scarcity. Like, this is why you got to act now. So if you start noticing this in all my landing pages, you'll notice top 1/3 motion, next big section is logic, last 20% is urgency and scarcity and fear. Okay? Same thing happens in my email campaigns. Somebody comes into my list, they join my list. My first few emails are all going to be speaking towards the emotion. Okay, you notice I'm telling stories, getting you excited. And then I'll transition to like, okay, let me talk logically why this is the thing you need. And then we end with urgency and scarcity, and we close down the campaign. Okay, this happens inside my email campaigns. If you look at my value ladder, how we send people up through it, at each step in the value ladder, boom, the follow-up sequence that takes somebody through that step of the value ladder and then moves to the next, goes through emotion, logic, and fear. Then you move to the next one, and then boom, that next one, and goes through emotion, logic, and fear. So that pattern is weaved throughout every single campaign, is we're moving people through our value ladder and sending them up. Okay? And it's also happening not just there, but in all of our campaigns. So this is kind of how I map out my campaigns. So again, emotion, logic, fear is up at the top here. The left-hand side is like, here's where somebody comes to this page, they click on the ad, and we have our retargeting campaigns. Okay, even our retargeting campaigns follow this process, right? The first set of ads they see after they hit a landing page to click on an ad are all very emotional-based ads, right? Okay, and if they haven't bought after the emotional, then we transition to logical-based ads. If they haven't bought after the logical-based ads, then we transition to the urgency and scarcity ads. Okay, so it happens there in the retargeting campaigns, it happens in our email campaigns, it happens in every single aspect. This pattern happens over and over and over and over again. So that, you guys, is the urgency and scarcity, the 3 closes framework. Do you guys like that? Very cool.
All right, guys, what did you think of that? Was that helpful? All right, so I found out where it is. So if you guys look for emotion, logic, fear in either .com secrets or expert secrets, you'll only find it mentioned here and there. It's actually not inside of here. They talk about it a little bit, but Russell goes into depth. If you guys got traffic secrets out? Okay, so inside of traffic secrets on page 98, Russell starts to go through the emotion, logic, fear. Now, we've been having a lot of questions about CRM. We've been having like, how do we actually get the CRM working? What about Message Hub? What about opportunities? What about all these different things? There's so many different options for you right now to actually get in touch with your customer. Some of you are just saying, look, I just need to get my sales letter written and I'm stuck. I'm not sure where I'm supposed to start. Emotion, logic, fear. He actually talks about it just a little bit inside of .com secrets. Emotion, logic, fear is the process. So as Russell's flying, I'm just going to give you a quick summary really quick. Go over to traffic secrets. It's on page 98 is where it starts. And it goes through all the different pieces. So if you're trying to figure out when am I supposed to be sending text messages, if you have the CRM fully set up, when am I supposed to be sending messages in Messenger? When am I supposed to do all these things? How do I respect their time? Traffic Secrets is going to guide you through that process. So what you need to do, page 98 in Traffic Secrets. Exactly, Kenneth. So make sure that you guys are over there. That's going to get you taken care of. All right. So what were your biggest ahas as you were going through this? What were the things that really stood out for you guys? yeah, there's so many different pieces inside of here, and retargeting as well. If you guys are doing retargeting, I was talking to some about retargeting. Traffic Secrets will show that as well. So make sure that you guys get into Traffic Secrets. It's got just all the gold here. This is the place to be. So come in here, get inside of Traffic Secrets, go to trafficsecrets.com. All right, a couple things that are going on. Russell is flying right now over to Dallas. He's going to be on stage for the Magnetic Marketing Super Conference. It's the first time this has happened in a really long time. And so being able to bring it back after all this time is really cool. Russell's going to be on stage. We're going to be trying to grab all the shorts and different things. They're going to be on Funnel Hacker TV. They're going to be in all the different places to make sure that you guys can stay up to date. But what I want you to do is we're still going to try to go live wherever we can. So we're talking to Russell back and forth, figuring out what presentations we're going to do and see if he can come on in the middle of all the presentations, just see if he can sneak backstage and be like, hey guys, check this out. So that way you guys get all the different details. And the only way to do that is to text. Make sure that you're on the texting list. Now here's the deal. If you are on the international list, okay, if you are international, if you're like, oh my gosh, I'm not inside the United States, the number hasn't worked for me, you can pull out WhatsApp today, right now, and go ahead and text us. All right. So Russell's going to drop the text here really quick so that way you guys know what number you should be talking about. But this is where you go. So the event is not being streamed at all. The super conference, that is a in-person event. It's really, really cool too. It's a small group of people that all decided to go. So it's going to be really intimate, really, really powerful. And there's some things that are being tested. I'm ridiculously excited. So if you're going to super conference, let us know, share inside of everything, but make sure that you guys get on the text list, use Traffic Secrets and this really, really cool script in order to be able to get this moving a little bit faster. So with all that said, get on the text list because you do not know when Russell's going to go live. The schedule is going to be kind of up in the air. We're not quite sure. We'll see how it works. The only way to know for certain, get on the list. All right. And Russell's got a really cool irresistible offer because of course Russell does, right? Russell's got an amazing irresistible offer that you need to get in on in order to be able to see what's available. So in order to get all the details, and we will see you guys hopefully tomorrow.
And I am kind of freaking out right now. I'm so excited. I just got a brand new phone. This is called my Funnel Hacker phone. And in this phone, I'm actually setting up a private community where I have a chance to text with my funnel hackers, with people like you about entrepreneurship and business and personal development and all the fun things that we love to talk about. And inside of this, this phone, I've been sending cool stuff that I don't send anywhere else except for people in my texting community. And I want to invite you to be part of it. Now, a couple things. Number one, the first thing I need you to do is grab your phone right now and I want you to actually text me, okay? The phone number is 208-231-3797. I'll probably have it above or below or somewhere, but the number again is 208-231-3797. Text me right now. Text me, hey, text me, what's up, whatever you want to do, and that's the first step. The second step is my goal is I want to get 50,000 entrepreneurs and business owners and funnel hackers on my phone here in the next, before the end of the year. So that's my goal and my game plan, and I need your help. If you will help me to get 50,000 people on here, I'm going to invite 5 of you to come here and fly to my office. We're going to hang out, and I'm going to spend a day with you, coaching you on your business. The first half of the day, I'm going to sit down with you. I'm going to brainstorm your funnels, your structure, your offer, all that kind of stuff. And then I'm going to have my top copywriter help you with your copy, our funnel builders, our designers. We're all going to come and tag team and spend a day with 5 of you here in the office. It's going to be so much fun. So that's the prize. That's the reward. The way you can win that reward is, number one, you have to text me. If you haven't texted me yet, you are not eligible to be part of this. I need you to text me so you can be part of my texting community, okay? Again, the number is 208-231-3797. I'm going to memorize that number, but as of right now, it is 208-231-3797. Text me. That's number one. Number two is every single time you help me to share this message, you get a vote. That means if you like the video down below, you get an extra vote. If you comment down below, you get an extra vote. You share this video, you get an extra vote, okay? And if you comment again, you get another extra vote, okay? At the end of this, after we have 50,000 people who are on my texting platform, then what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick 5 of you guys to come to our offices here in Boise. We're going to spend a day going deep into your funnels, your business. It's going to be so much fun. You work with me, my copywriters, my designers, my funnel builders, and we're going to get your business up and launched live. This is a free gift for 5 of you guys. So again, the way to win, text me. Stop everything you're doing. Pause this, text me, 208-231-3797. So what do you got to do right now? You know what to do. Text me.